Since its 1973 ruling Roe versus Wade, the U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly upheld a woman's right to have an abortion by rejecting new legal challenges. Yesterday, the court, including the 3 justices appointed by former President Trump, changed course by voting to allow a near-total ban on abortions in Texas to stand. With this, the Supreme Court is opening the legal door to more state laws that would challenge Roe versus Wade and ban abortions. U.S. President Biden today blasted the court's move. Members of Congress are vowing to pass legislation, a federal law, that would protect a woman's right to an abortion.
Abortion matters for all of us. It's freedom. It's liberation. It's our right.
These women in Houston, Texas, gathered to voice their outrage at the state's new abortion legislation.
So basically, they're stopping women from being able to get an abortion no matter the circumstances. And people are allowed to sue women and people helping women get abortions in Texas.
The law effectively bans abortion after about 6 weeks, often before a woman even knows she's pregnant. It also makes no exception for rape or incest. The Texas state government passed the law back in May. Governor Greg Abbott praised the move as progress.
Our Creator endowed us with the right to life, and yet millions of children lose their right to life every year because of abortion.
Clinics in Texas have said the law will rule out 85% of abortions and force many centers to close. Healthcare provider Planned Parenthood, along with civil liberties groups, took the ban to the Supreme Court on Monday, asking it to stop the law from taking effect. But the court rejected that application, allowing it to remain for now. These women are determined that this will not be the last word. When it comes to issues about their bodies, they believe they should have the final say.
And for more now, I'm joined by Nancy Cardenas-Pena. She is the Texas Director for Policy and Advocacy at National Latina Institute for Reproductive Health. She joins me tonight from Austin, Texas. It's good to have you on the program, Nancy. This Supreme Court decision, did you see it coming?
We expected something similar, so we weren't exactly surprised. But I think an important distinction to make is that although it gives us an indication of what will happen in the future, this was a decision merely for that motion in the lawsuit, which was an injunction. So it gives us a clear indication, but there are still many, many more legal steps in the process.
Are you already, though, seeing an impact of the new law in Texas?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the conversations that I'm having with community members and people here in Texas is first and foremost confusion. And a lot of folks who want to help these folks, like people who are trying to make these healthcare decisions, are also confused because they do not know if, for example, driving someone to a clinic means that they will now be sued under SB 8. Am I going to be sued because I'm talking about SB 8 and perhaps someone hears this and makes the decision to have an abortion? It's very, very vague, and it's very on purpose. Yeah,
that you bring up a good point there. We were reading the legislation. I understand it deputizes anyone with the ability to sue if they think that you are aiding and abetting someone trying to get an abortion. We also understand that the Texas law does not allow abortions even in cases of rape and incest. What are you advising women to do?
I think we're having a lot of difficult conversations with people. First and foremost, the folks who may be able to leave the state for their care, then that may be an option if they so choose. And in coordination with abortion funds and providers, then that might be something. But people need to understand that there are internal immigration checkpoints that prevent people who aren't documented from leaving the state, people who do not have papers. And then we have the majority of the clients that we see in Texas are already parents. So it's a much more difficult conversation that we're having with folks here on the ground.
The debate over abortion since the 1973 Roe versus Wade decision, it has been heated. at times in the United States. There have also been moments of violence. Are you worried about being targeted in any form simply because you counsel women on their reproductive rights?
I think based on my experiences in the history of violence that anti-choicers have made in this country, I think it would be naive to believe that legal violence is the only course of action they will take. And we've seen examples of this. You know, we've seen clinic bombings, we've seen assassinations, we've seen people getting hurt because they are trying to help people access safe abortion. We've already seen a website being, run by an anti-choice organization that accepts anonymous tips from people. So the reporting has already begun.
I mean, it almost sounds like this law allows a big brother abortion police force to be created. Am I understanding that right?
Yes, in the Republican state of Texas, apparently this is something that they wanted to advocate for. And I can explain a little bit about why it happened this way. Because the lawsuits always happen after legislative sessions when, abortion restrictions pass. The intent behind this bill, this law, SB 8, was to make people in the entire country the enforcers of SB 8. So not the state government, but people as the enforcers, and make it much more difficult for legal challenges, because are we going to sue every single person in the country? That's a different and entirely complex conversation.
Well, we will certainly be following this story because, as you say, the last word has not been spoken. Nancy Cardenas-Pena with the National Latina Institute for Reproductive Health joining us tonight from Austin, Texas. Nancy, thank you.